UFC on ESPN +4 goes down this weekend in Wichita, Kansas, in America. We've got Derrick Lewis taking on Junior Dos Santos. It was the in America part.
Yeah, how'd you know?
Just in case. I know you too well.
In America.
Big main event. The heavyweights are in town. Let's start it there. We're going to preview a little bit of the card, give you our picks, and sure, we might even give you a few odds if you are the punting type. So yeah, Rob, I'll pass it to you first. Derrick Lewis, Junior Dos Santos. Derrick Lewis coming off the big opportunity fight in his last outing, returning to the cage. How'd you see it?
Historically, this seems like the type of fight that Junior Dos Santos would love. I'm not saying like all these guys that I'm going to say are the same type of guys, are the exact same fighters, but the likes of like Ryan Nelson, that type kind of reminds me of what a Derrick Lewis is when he's striking, kind of a plodding guy who's just looking for that one big shot. And Junior Dos Santos usually does really well against those type of guys.
Could you argue his most recent win over Tuivasa is a similar style fighter?
Similar. I think Tuivasa is a little bit different in terms of he'll throw combinations and he's a little bit more aggressive. Lewis reminds me of somebody further down the card, Ben Rothwell, who will kind of just come forward, try to take the centre, and then once he gets an opportunity to take a shot, he will. And Junior Dos Santos usually does well against that type of guys. Even if you look at another guy actually on the card that Junior fought, Ivan Akhmedov. Yeah. Similar thing, where he just took the centre, was looking for the big shot, and Junior just popped at the jab and just outstruck him. And I kind of see a similar thing happen here.
Yeah, Derrick Lewis is like the wingmill style, and that sounds disrespectful, but Santos has much crisper striking.
Yeah.
His boxing, he's good foot movement. This is a type of fight though that, you know, Derrick Lewis is that, as we've seen in his previous fights, he can lull better strikers, as in more technical strikers, into his type of fight. So which is I'm absolutely wrecked, let's have a brawl style fight, and he lands that shot. You look at the big win that got him the big show against Alexander Volkov. Like, he was on his way to losing that fight. He was literally like 10-15 seconds away from losing.
Come back from the dead.
And he lands that big hand. Yeah. So it's a weird one, because when Derrick Lewis got the title shot against Cormier, everyone was like, yeah, do you know what, he's deserving of it. And now you put him in with Junior. So when that fight was announced against Junior Santos, I went, that's a really bad fight for him. Because he's going to fight against someone who was good footwork, who was fast hands, accurate hands, will get out of there, and also possesses finishing power. I can see Junior working off the jab and eventually mixing it up to combinations, ripping to the body and changing it up and just beating Derrick Lewis up for the majority of the fight. Worth noting as well, Derrick Lewis, how's his back as well? Would he stay there? It's a 5
It's always a question,
fight,
isn't it, with Derrick Lewis?
So you don't know.
Back,
but like, you know, if you were a gambling man, you know what I mean, my pick would be, you know, put money on proving Junior Dos Santos. I just think there's levels to MMA, and I just think Derrick Lewis is just under Junior in that one. But Sean, what's your take on this one?
Yeah, I was personally very impressed with Dos Santos' win over Tai Tuivasa, because I rate Tuivasa very highly, or I did anyway, still do. But yeah, I was very impressed with Junior's win over him.
It's the type of fight though that, like, when you look at Junior Dos Santos, who he's lost it down his career, like he's Stipe, lost to Stipe, lost to Alistair Overeem, Cain Velasquez. Do you know what I mean? So he's lost to the top of the food chain in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, and he's been finished a couple of times. So I think you can say, and I think it's a fair argument to say, that he's open to be finished. As in, if you can land a big shot, you can't finish him. Not saying his chin is bad, but these are heavyweights. But the guys who he lost by strikes to, Stipe Miocic, Alistair Overeem,
elite strikers.
They're elite strikers.
And Cain is an elite wrestler.
Yeah, usually he doesn't just get caught with a shot. Yeah. You know, what Derrick Lewis likes to do. And ground-wise, Lewis can be good when he gets on top, but I don't see this going to the floor. I don't see takedowns coming from Lewis. So
fast turnaround for Dos Santos, who fought, was last in December. But like, I'm saying Junior here. If it put me down in an accumulator, I'd be picking Junior. But I'm rooting for Derrick Lewis. I just I think he's a fan favorite, and like it's quite funny the whole because my balls is hot really got him really like out there and everyone was in it, but man, he was funny before that. He's a good personality. I think he's good for the sport, and he gives us joy when he's in there. He enjoys it. Do you know what I mean? He like his interviews, you feel he makes the answers up just to entertain himself. So I'd be rooting for Lewis, but I just think, like I said, levels
a few steps ahead,
and Junior's boxing and footwork is just going to be too much. I think you'll pick him apart. Yeah, I can see Junior finishing him coming into the later rounds. I don't think it's going to make championship rounds.
No.
I think he'll finish him probably in the third round. But as I said, Derrick Lewis, he could land that shot, and once he gets blood and injures his opponents, he can get the job done. But yeah, Junior Santos, third round TKO.
I'll go same. Yeah, exact same.
That was quick for time. Sean, what is he?
I'm gonna go Derrick. Just because I've looked at the prices. I'll tell you in a minute. But just on the prices, I'll take a punt on Derrick with that big right hand.
What's the prices?
So Derrick's 15-8 and Junior is 4-11. But as Noel was saying, Junior's probably a good pick for an accumulator.
Yeah, I like it.
I really like the comment in this one.
Yeah.
The reason for that is both fighters are on good winning streaks at the moment. I think they're both on the Santos is like on a 6 or 7 fight win streak, and then you have Millender, who's on like a 9 fight win streak. I think made his debut against Thiago Alves. Got the beautiful finish with that. Remember the knee was like
beautiful. Yeah.
Can he qualify as a flying knee? It was more of a step in knee.
A step in.
Yeah.
Half,
But then he big start in the UFC, and then his other 2 fights went to decisions. But what I like about this fight is the 2 of these guys are just forward momentum fighters. You might say Millender is the more technical style fighter.
Yeah, definitely.
While I can't call him the Santos because that's how I know him. It's Zaleski or whatever the Santos.
Zaleski.
He comes forward and just wings his shots.
Yeah.
So he's actually. He's a little bit of a very different style, but he's that forward Mirandering style of Vanderlei Silva or Vito Belfort when the gas is on.
Throws some crazy techniques as well.
Yeah, the Strickland, was it Sean Strickland?
Hook kick, was it?
They was spinning. He was spinning, caught him spinning, finished him with ground and pound. So he has that in the back, but what he's like, he beats a lot of his opponents by the pressure he puts on them. He breaks their will because it's so hard to fight off your back foot. So I think the first fight in this is whose tempo is this fight going to be fought at? As in, if the Santos can make it his fight, yeah, fine. But as well, Millender, if he is able to get to his fight and his tempo and start getting off his techniques, he's very capable of throwing this spinny shit too, and has good knees and good finish. But the clinch work of the Santos here is for me, and the forward momentum. That's where I'm picking. I'm going with the Santos for this one to get it done, and I think he finishes as well. I think again probably going to go round 3, and the reason being is because just that constant pressure. So Millender's going to learn, or going to have to fight off his back foot, I think, here, or gain the respect straight away of the Santos by landing big, so he doesn't come forward in that marauding way.
Funny enough, I completely agree with your assessment, but I agree with the finish. Millender is definitely like the more cerebral fighter. He's a guy who likes to keep range, has a great jab, and likes to fight at that range, whereas Zaleski or Dos Santos, he doesn't really likes to come forward. He likes to throw some crazy shots. He's the much more crazier fighter, I think you could say. And I think that's where, like, it's whoever can set that pace, whoever can fight at their own style. I think Millender is good at fighting at range. I think he's going to hurt him with the jab. I don't think he's going to be able to get going, Dos Santos. So I'm going to go with Millender. I really thought that CR fight was really, really good because CR, not that similar to Zaleski, but he does similar things where he likes to come forward, he likes to strike, and they both have that kind of style. And I thought Millender done a great job with that. So I'm going to go with that, and I think it's going to look similar to the CR Bahadur fight. And I'm going to go Millender. I'll say decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a late finish. But I'm really, really impressed with Millender.
Is this one 5 rounds as well?
No.
3 rounds.
Yeah. It's an absolute cracking fight.
It's a great fight.
What do you think, Sean, and odds-wise as well?
I've looked at the odds. I'm struggling to pick a winner on this one. So both guys are 5-6, and it's not too often you see, like, it really is a pick 'em, because it's not generally with close fights you'll see a slight favourite. But so generally
might get slight closer to the night, you know, when Vegas odds start coming in.
Yeah.
I'm
probably edging towards Millender myself as well.
Yeah, I'm all over Millender.
Quite a loose.
I think it's a great fight. I think it's actually great matchmaking. 2 of them are on good winning streaks, as I was saying at the start, breaking it down. But yeah, I think it's a fun fight, and for me that's fighting the night all over it. Like all over it. Further down the card we've Niko Price taking on Tim Means. What's your thoughts? I know you love Means just for the fact that he's called Dirty Bird.
Yeah, I do love Means. I'm not picking him here. I'm actually going to pick Price in this one. Means is a great fighter, but he's let me down so many times with bets. So many times. It's kind of frustrating. But he's really fun to watch. He reminds me somewhat of a Carlos Condit type fighter where he's very well rounded, but he likes to fight, which is a kind of a weird thing to say. But what I mean by that is he doesn't really go in with that much of a game plan. He goes in and says, I'll go and I'll do what comes up, I will strike if striking's there. I'll grapple if grappling's there. And sometimes against guys like Niko Price who can look for takedowns, get guys in their back and hurt them from there. Of course, he's a bit wild as well. But against guys like that, I think Tim Means can struggle because sometimes he can get into grappling exchanges, end up on his back, maybe get caught in a submission or maybe just lose by decision just because he's trying to show his offense, which he likes to do. But sometimes, like with Sergio Pettis, where they just lie on their back for too long, they can lose points. And I think something similar is going to happen here. Whereas Price might be able to finish, but I'm going to say Price will win by decision. I just think that in the grappling exchanges, he's better at scrambling. He's going to stay on top. Striking exchanges, Tim Means could catch him. He's good, but he's not a huge puncher. And generally, Niko Price gets caught by big punchers, not guys who are technical like Tim Means, who like to kind of
like
have that
Alisson in his last fight.
Gets caught. Whereas Tim Means likes to piece you up a little bit, likes to land combinations, but he's not going to go 100% on every shot. So I'm going to say Niko Price wins just by outworking Tim Means with the wrestling, with the grappling, and maybe in the striking, but I think it'd be a bit more even if it stays there.
I agree with your pick. I'm going Niko Price here myself as well. Of course, a lot of people got high on Price with the hammer fist from the bottom against Randy Brown. But I think he possesses a lovely counter right hand as well. And as you said, Means doesn't land with ferocity and
it's accumulation of strikes that.
And I think he's susceptible to that big long. Like he's a long fighter as well. Niko Price is really he doesn't like Means is a big man, but Price when you watch him fight, people always it's like they seem to think they're out of his boxing range, and that just right hand just goes Dal Sim mode. Still lands.
Throws some crazy strikes and even his submissions, he catches people in the scramble.
Yeah, his submission game is excellent as well. So I am going with Niko Price in this one as well. I'd
be interested to see the odds.
I actually think he's a big underdog. Actually,
big underdog.
Yeah, so Tim Means is quite a big favourite, 4-9 actually, which is Rob.
What's happening?
Rob clearly hadn't seen the odds.
Generally pick the favourites.
Yeah.
Change your pick.
Niko Price, big underdog, 13-8. So
nice.
I'm gonna go that one myself. Niko Price. We're all full house. Everyone.
I like that one.
The return of Ben Rothwell hasn't fought in. No, come back and do your interview.
Okay.
Awful. Big Ben Rothwell makes a return. He is taking on Ivanov, who fought Junior Santos in his last outing, wasn't it? Was that his last outing?
Yeah.
Lost to Junior, so he's fighting Ben Rothwell. Ben Rothwell has not fought since
2 years, maybe more, but he was off for 2 years. I know that.
Against
it wasn't the finish of Alistair.
No, he lost to Junior Santos.
Oh, well,
so the two of them are coming off losses to Junior Santos. But it's been a long time. 2016. It was in April 2016. So it's a long time since Ben Rothwell's been in there. You see, we always talk about the evolution of MMA and stuff like that.
Yeah.
MMA heavyweights are like the big boulder that sort of is going uphill rather than downhill. It doesn't
evolve as quickly.
Doesn't evolve as quick. So coming back in, but it's a long time off. Ivanov, what I like about him is that when you look at his Junior Santos fight, I think the tip of the hat you can give him. Junior Santos respected his power so much that he didn't really want to engage that much.
Yeah.
He counters. He has a lovely counter overhand right. Dare I say it? Fedor-esque.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Ivanov in this one.
Wow.
I just think nice.
Like
Broadwell could maul him.
It's a pick 'em of sorts because they're also heavyweights.
Yeah, but I think Ivanov lands that Fedor-esque right hand, and now comes back here next week on. Told you.
Yeah, this is a weird one because usually when someone like Ben Rothwell, who's like insanely experienced, you have his record up there. If you can get that, he's insanely experienced. He has so many fights. He doesn't need to be active, is what I mean.
36-10.
Yeah, so he has loads of fights. I mean, he doesn't really need to be
46.
active to know how to fight.
Yeah.
So I don't think the layoff could be a factor in that sense, but in the sense of the fight pace could be a problem because if you watch Ivanov, not in the Junior Dos Santos fight, the other fights. Sometimes he's really aggressive, and you kind of mentioned this earlier with another fight, but sometimes he's really aggressive and he wins with pace.
Yeah.
And if Ben Rothwell isn't quite fight fit, up to speed, it could be a problem. But if Ivanov fights the way he fought Junior Dos Santos, I think this could be Rothwell's fight to lose because Rothwell, again, is one of them fighters, like I said earlier, likes to kind of stand in the middle, wait for shots, and then land the shot when it opens up. And I think Ivanov will give that to him if he fights in that way. But if he puts the pressure on, like he has in some of his other fights, Could be really, really interesting. But I'm going to say Ben Rothwell wins, and he might finish him late. Maybe like late second-ish.
Odds?
Another pick 'em. Both guys 5-6.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Beneil Dariush takes on Drew Dober. I'll get it straight off the bat here. It's a weird one. Drew Dober, huge Muay Thai experience and background as a young fella. He was a national. I love it. He was a national world champion.
A national world champion.
Figure that one out.
Very nice.
But yeah, Drew Dober. Ironically though, most of his finishes come by the way of submission.
Yeah.
So you know the whole Thai background. But I'm gonna go with Drew here. I just think. Dariush he's the sort of guy like you said with Tim Means. He let you down so many times on bets, and Dariush is that guy that you're like, he's the big favourite in this. Oh, okay. I just think Drew Dober will use his Muay Thai style, if you like, and work in and let the kicks go. And I just think he'll slowly pick apart Beneil Dariush. I don't see a finish. I see it going to the judges' scorecards, and I'm going to say 30-27 on all three judges' scorecards for Drew Dober.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go with Dariush. He's again.
You always pick Dariush.
I know, and I've been wrong with him a few times. But when he does win, I'm right. Work that one out. Yeah, so I'm going to pick Dariush.
Wasted.
Not hugely confident in it. I think if it says in the feet, Drew Dober can win. We've seen the Hernandez fight. Dariush can get caught. But I think if it does hit the floor, Dariush should be many steps ahead of him. And I think he'll be able to probably get a finish because we've seen Dober being finished a couple of times by submission as well. So yeah,
that chin, how after Edson Barboza,
there's been a few of them, and every time he loses, he gets, yeah. So, but I'll go with Dariush. I'd be interested to see what these odds are, but I'll go with Dariush submission.
Sean?
So Dariush is 1-2 and Drew Dober is 6-4. So there's a nice little bet in there for you this week.
Yeah.
And then opening the main card, we've got Omari Akhmedov taking on Tim Boetsch. When I was doing my little bit of research for this one, I was like, Tim Boetsch, and I put in brackets because it's Tim Boetsch.
Yeah, that's the one, isn't it?
That's what I don't put. Like Boetsch is, like I really did like there it is, like Tim Boetsch because it's Tim Boetsch.
Very good.
We believe you.
Yeah, it's just Tim Boetsch is the. You just don't know with Tim Boetsch. Like his last time out, he just didn't look like Tim Boetsch at all. He didn't have that aggression. He didn't have that, and Carlos Jr. absolutely went through him. Then he wasn't out before that until like Johnny Hendricks. Like Johnny Hendricks doesn't even wear gloves when he fights anymore. Do you know what I mean? That's where Johnny Hendricks is gone. But I don't know. He's been an actor for a while, as you said. Actually, it's a good point with Ben Rothwell. Is he's so experienced? You don't need to be active to remember how to fight. I'm going with Tim Boetsch in this one. I wouldn't put it near an accumulator, because you really don't know what Tim Boetsch is going to turn up this time around. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, because on his day he's as hard as nails, as tough as they can come, and can fight through it. But at 38 years of age, he's coming off that loss. Where is he at? How's he look? But yeah, I'm still. It sounds like I'm picking against them. But all in, Tim Boetsch, let's go.
I am hugely torn on this one. I don't know which way to go. I had Akhmedov down, but I think you changed my mind with your opening statement of I'm picking him because he's Tim Boetsch, because that's kind of why I want to pick him. But Akhmedov will fight the fight that Tim Boetsch likes.
Yeah.
And that's a scrap, because they're both scrappers. And it's kind of who wins that. I'd probably generally, like if I was thinking with my head, I'd pick Akhmedov because he's the less, I guess, weathered guy, and Tim Boetsch didn't look great in his last fight. But Tim Boetsch, he just has a knack for just pulling out a bag, landing a shot in the last round.
Tim Boetsch is always the guy that you think that when it's said and done and it's over and it's going to be wrapped.
Exactly, yeah. So if Tim Boetsch loses the first two rounds, back him to win in the third round. I'll go with Tim Boetsch, but I'm not.
Boetsch.
I'm not really confident.
It's Darren's love for him as well. Sean, odds.
Tim Boetsch 6-4. And Akhmedov 8-15.
Ooh, that kind of sounds about right, though.
Yeah,
it sounds about right.
So there's a nice little bet in there for you this week.
Sweet.
That's the main card. I've pulled up a little threefold. So what did they get? Treble in America?
Treble
in America? What do they call it? Double, a parlay?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I think that's what they call all multiple bets.
Yeah, parlay is all multiple bets.
Parlay. There's three of them. I'm going Niko Price, Dos Santos, as in Zaleski's. Say it for me again, Rob.
Zaleski.
Yeah.
Zaleski dos Santos, and then I'm going Junior dos Santos.
Zaleski.
You're going to get about 7-1 odds on that.
Nice.
So just short of 7-1 odds. Little treble.
Is that in Vegas odds? What's that? Is that around 800?
I'll trust you with that
I
one.
think it's around 800 in Vegas odds for
I'll
those in
trust you with that
America.
one. That's a nice little bit.
Let me know in the
It is a
comments.
nice
if I'm
little
wrong
bet,
there.
isn't it? 7
Yeah.
for a 3-fold. Definitely sticking that on.
Yeah.
So that'd be my show. And yeah, so that's fights go down Saturday night in Wichita, Kansas, and let's just hope for a few good fights.